Hello, students. Today we will begin with a new unit, that is Unit 7, A Box of Delights. In this unit, you will look at different versions of an ancient fairy tale, meet a modern hero, read about a clever princess which is from a traditional tale from India, and you will learn to write your own tale. The subtopics are fairy tales forever, compare and contrast, verb tenses, write a synopsis, the Iron Man, the coming of the Iron Man, variety adds power to writing, traditional tales, pronouns and prepositions, and your own tale. Now, let us look at our first topic, fairy tales forever. Fairy tales are retold around the world in different versions. Here you will read a synopsis of a traditional Persian tale about Sitare. But let me first explain what is a synopsis. Synopsis is a short description or summary of the contents of something, such as a book or film. The word synopsis comes from late Latin and Greek word synoren, which means to see all together. Read the synopsis of the Persian tale about Sitare, and then read the synopsis of Cinderella, which is given on page 157. Then compare the similarities with Cinderella and the differences from Cinderella. The second topic, compare and contrast. In this topic, you will explore two different versions of Cinderella, that is, the Chinese and the Kenyan Cinderella tales. Read through these two versions of Cinderella, then read the synopsis of Cinderella on page 157. After you are done with your reading, identify which key Cinderella elements appear in different versions of the tale. Here, you can also test your comprehension by reading all the three synopses again and try to answer the questions on page 102 without looking back at them. The third topic, verb tenses. The present tense has two main forms, that is, the simple present and the present continuous. The simple present tense is often known as the habitual present because it implies something that has been done before and it will be done again. It does not have a sense of immediacy about it. It helps create a sense of timelessness in the synopsis by implying that the action is the same each time the story is told. It is a form of constancy. The present continuous implies immediacy, something being done right now. Here, the structure requires a helping or auxiliary verb and the present participle. In the past tense, the past continuous is sometimes called the imperfect tense as it cannot really appear on its own in a simple sentence because the sense is imperfect. The imperfect tense explains what someone or something was doing when another event took place. Example, I was walking along the road, when it started to rain. Here, the participle remains the same, but the helping verb goes into the past tense. The fourth and fifth topic, write a synopsis. Here, when you plan to write your own Cinderella, it is important that you change some details from the original story to make it more locally relevant. It could be names, characters, or making the Cinderella character into a boy as well. You can also think of local color by adding details of what people wear, what could be lost, what traditional object could be magic, where could the story be set locally, and what would a likely name be in this area. You can use the flow chart to plan the story. And remember to use the third person and the simple present tense in the synopsis and focus on word choices. You can also use the continuous tense to create complex sentences. The sixth topic, the Iron Man. The Iron Man is a short novel by Ted Hughes. It is a mixture of science fiction with a modern fairy tale, and it remains among the author's best known books for children. The Iron Man is the story of a gigantic metal robot who appears out of nowhere, crushing onto the beach and shattering into many parts. He is discovered by a young boy called Hogarth, who later becomes his friend. The Iron Man later defends the world from a dragon from outer space. The seventh topic, the coming of the Iron Man. The coming of the Iron Man is the opening chapter of the novel. Here, the author Ted Hughes creates drama, so let us see what he uses to create drama in his novel. First is the use of action, as in what happens. Second is use of vocabulary and descriptions like alliteration, similes, metaphor, personification, exciting words, and repetition of words. Third is the use of variety of sentences like short and long sentences, questions, statements, and exclamations. Fourth is the use of textual features and layout, where he uses capitalized words like CRASH, use of exclamation marks, onomatopoeia, unusual new paragraphs, and a new line starting as in a few rocks tumbled with him, then silence. The eighth topic, variety adds power to writing. The author uses a splendid mix of short, long, simple, and complex sentences, statements, questions, and exclamations. Exclamation marks are used after single words to add emphasis and effect. There are also incomplete sentences with and punctuations, going straight into a new paragraph, and starting on a new line with a capital letter partway through the sentences. The author used these varieties for dramatic effect. He uses this unusual style and layout to make the reader pay attention and to make it dramatic by getting the reader to pause in unexpected places. The ninth topic, traditional tales. Fairy tales are a type of traditional tales. Many traditional tales share similar features of fairy tales, but traditional tales tend to have fewer magical elements and more real cleverness and trickery. The story Nine Questions for a Princess, written by Sudha Murty, is appealing and simple in its context, but has greater depth than might appear at first glance. The question and answer structure works well for reading aloud, and providing a contrast with how the Iron Man can be read for dramatic effect. Here, the cleverness highlighted in the story is Sashi Shekhar's questions are clever in the form of riddles. Surya Prabha's answers are also clever, but the cleverest question is the penultimate question which defeats the princess. The 10th topic, pronouns and prepositions. Pronouns are words that are used to replace a noun in a sentence. They are used to avoid repeating the same nouns over and over again. The pronoun I, you, he, she, it, we, they are the personal pronouns. The pronouns mine, yours, his, hers, ours, theirs are the possessive pronouns. The pronouns my, your, his, her, its, our, their are often called dependent or weak possessive pronouns and are linked to possessive adjectives. Now, note that use of pronouns can be easy, but it is also easy to create ambiguity. Now, what is ambiguity? Ambiguity is a word or expression that can be understood in two or more possible ways and therefore cause confusion. For example, Suri asked her sister whether the slippers she was wearing were hers. Here in this sentence, the pronoun hers is unclear. It can either be referring to Suri or her sister. So, in order to avoid ambiguity, it is better to repeat the relevant noun or nouns where necessary. Now, let us look at preposition. Preposition is a word or group of words used before a noun, pronoun, or noun phrase to show direction, time, place, location, spatial relationships, or to introduce an object. Example of prepositions are at, in, into, beside, under, before, in front, etc. The 11th and 12th topic, your own tale. Before you start writing your own tale, first plan your question and answer story. Make your plan into two parts. In the first part, let it be mainly narrative. In the second part, make it mainly dialogue. Now remember to keep the following points in mind when you are planning your tale. See that your beginning and ending has traditional tale. Use different types of sentence and length. Use different sentence starters. Include interesting vocabulary, adverbial and adjective phrases, and figurative language. The dialogue should be correctly set out and punctuated, and use expressive exclamations and interesting layout features. Now, once your final version of your story is ready, practice reading your story aloud. Read clearly and fluently, as well as adding some drama. Use expression, pace, and body language, especially for dialogue. With this, we come to the end of our unit. Thank you.